Okay, alumni, welcome back to the Professor's Lounge. My name is Benjamin Ayres. You're the alumni. This is Romance University. Put your pencils down, pick them up. Put your phones down, pick up the pencils. See, this would be a moment when I could restart this whole thing over again, but that's not how this goes. We just sort of roll with the punches here, and I'm going to jump right in because this is a really good question. It's going to take me a little while to answer it. This comes from, first of all, thank you guys. The questions have been incredible. They're really good. They're making me think a lot. How do I answer this in a concise way that also makes sense to anybody who's not in the industry? So that I appreciate. So make sure you're asking, continue to ask us the questions. Head over to our Instagram page. There is a form for you to fill out. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff here. Here we go. This comes from Katie Swanson. All right. She says, I'm enjoying the Professor's Lounge. Thank you for doing this. I'm going to read all of it because it's all really good. Thank you, Katie. Ben, yes, I was impressed with your performance in Santa Tell Me. Thank you. Oftentimes, the characters who are not the one with whom the woman ultimately ends up with are clearly the wrong fit for her. But in this movie, it was very believable that Aaron's character would have a struggle deciding. Yes. I felt that you were able to achieve just the right amount of chemistry between Nick A and Olivia. It felt legitimate. And since the only thing missing for her was a particular spark, that had to be a challenging balance as actors. Could you talk about the process of achieving the appropriate level of connection? Did you and Aaron have conversations about how to approach it, etc.? Thank you for that very detailed question. Yes, we had conversations. And you know when you're watching the movie and you know there is the guy she's not supposed to be with? Well, that character is written like that. All right, the character is written a very certain way for you to see clearly that she should not be with him. It doesn't mean the actor has to play it that way, but she will most likely be directed a certain way so that we know it's the wrong choice for her. Now, in this movie, I also approach it in a way like I knew going in that anybody who is familiar with the Hallmark brand knows that Daniel and Aaron used to do a television series together and that they're going to be together in this movie. This was a big deal, this movie. So I had to approach it a little differently. So I thought about it from the standpoint of, well, obviously the fans know they're going to get together. But I don't make the movies specifically just for the Hallmark fans. I'm aware when we're making them that the fans are going to love certain pairings and storylines and stuff like that. But also, I have to be aware of somebody who is maybe stumbling upon this movie for the first time and doesn't quite know the relationship of the actors or the history they have or that they used to be on a TV series together. So all that to say, Aaron and I did talk about it, and I was aware that we were the first ones to kiss. Our characters, Nick A and Olivia, were the first ones to kiss in the movie. So the way the character was written for Nick A was that he kind of appeared to gloat a lot and talk about all of his achievements. So that was a little part of the decision of Olivia to not want to be with him. However, once we kind of got there and started doing it, and I believe some of the lines changed because we kind of took that element out. You know, there were just really cool achievements that Nick A had accomplished in his life. So we really played it as if he should be a solid, and I approached it as I am the choice. It just seemed like an easier way for me to go in and be like, it's me, and I just played it like it's my movie. I'm the lead of this movie with Aaron. Um, because I felt like if their connection was really strong, it would make the decision a lot harder for the audience watching it. Even though they knew somehow in the end those two would end up together, I really wanted that connection to feel strong, and that kiss to be powerful. Because it's not often that your lead female character is going to not fall in love, but like kiss another guy before she kisses the main guy. Like, I don't even know if that's happened. You can let me know in the comments below if that's happened, but I don't believe it has. So we were aware that that was a pretty cool magical moment in the Hallmark world, getting to do something like that. And yeah, we had conversations about the fact that I mean, hey, if things don't work out with Daniel, then she's a great backup plan. But then we knew that, of course, once all the guys got together and we did that scene, and there were a couple questions about that scene as well. Did we improvise any of that? And the answer is yes. Um, in fact, there were many questions about improvisation in our movies, and there is room for it as long as you're not changing the entire arc of your character or the story or affecting major story points. Improvisation usually comes maybe a little bit at the beginning, maybe a little bit at the end, maybe a couple little moments in between. But you're not improvising entire scenes or the entire movie. That's for sure. But I can say that when Russell, Kurt, and I did that scene, sorry, Christopher Russell, um, Kurt, Zerka, and myself got there as the guys. We talked a lot about how do we go from these guys kind of have this animosity towards one another and then kind of band together and be this like group of merry men. So we found this whole like we cross our arms at the same time, we throw down the canes, um, and sort of like it's us or nobody, Olivia, and we killed ourselves laughing every time we did that scene because it was great because we found little bits every time. First it was we threw the sword.
You need to choose. You do speak for all of us. Correct.
You can't expect me to.
And it was we cross our arms. Wait, he's crossing his arms. I want to cross my arms too.
Which Nick is it gonna be?
There was a moment where I was like, well, if I tell Kurt I'm going to do this, it just the surprise of it won't land. So I didn't tell him and apologized to him right after. But I took the candy cane and just went and hit him in the face with it. That's not something I would do. I'm very conscientious of all the other actors' process, and especially when it comes to like a physical thing like that, I would like to kind of give a warning. But at that point, we were kind of in it, and we were finding all these moments, and I was like, I'll just do one of those, and if they don't want it, we don't have. But I could hear laughing kind of behind the monitors, and the second we called cut, Kurt was like, dude, that was hilarious. So, and I apologized to him right away, but I knew it would be funny to just, and then they added the squeak. Like, listen, anytime you take a prop like that, and then you start adding little sound effects to it, like
the firefighter charity event. Wait, she poisoned you?
All that to say, I knew that once we got to that point, the guys are going to be leaving because Olivia, once they discover, wait, you've been dating two other men at the exact same time as me, like I'm kind of out of this, right? And then as we all walk past Olivia, I think Aaron suggested I do that. I did something. I did some type of movement, and then she's like, "You should put your finger right on my lips." I was like, "Oh, that's great." Okay, I think because I did this, and then she's like, "You should do that." So I just walked up and just went,
Nick.
which was funny. Thank you for that question. I hope that makes sense. This movie was written specifically for it to be a challenge as to who she's going to go with, and especially for the role of Nikke. So in this movie in particular, on top of the fact that I just played it like I am that guy that she's going to choose, that's why you felt like it was a struggle. Like, in watching it, you're like, well, what's wrong with this guy? Like, this is actually kind of a perfect setup. And I am also going to say, there's a fine line between playing those characters. Just his hair in my mouth just fell into my mouth. Playing any of those characters, even when it's the guy that she doesn't end up with, and kind of like playing him smarmy. And unless it's like a comedy and you really want to go in and play it that way, I find, you kind of can't judge your character. You just think nobody's walking around as I'm the background performer in my own life, right? Everybody's the lead of their own life, and they have their convictions. And all that to say, thank you. I appreciate the question. And